Just a couple of things before we moved on to Carolina, who's going to share a few words with us. Tomorrow is the very, very important day. Certain events are happening at 3 o'clock at Parliament Square. If you have time, a lot of supporters are gathering round at 3 p.m. In support of Julian Assange. Also in the evening, there is the screening of a wonderful documentary, Hacking Justice, at SOAS University. Supporters will be out there. I mean, unfortunately, it's fully sold out, but supporters will gather in support outside. Please join them if you have the opportunity. So Carolina, I'd like to invite you to come and say a few words. Carolina is a filmmaker and a supporter of Julian Assange.
Thank you. Okay. Well, I'm Carolina Terol, and I just want to thank you a little bit, just to mention the Guildful Four. And you might think, oh, what is the Guildful Four? It has to do with Julian Assange. Think about the Guildful Four. That was the complete corruption of a system that has been residing in this country. 4 Irish people and 7 members of a whole family, the same family, McGear family, were condemned to 15 to 30 years in prison in 1974. Yeah. And for an REA bombing that they were accused to. And they were convicted because the police hid an important piece of evidence that would have cleared everybody there at that moment. And that piece of evidence, that alibi, was hidden and not presented to the defense in the court case. And it was Gareth Price, the same lawyer that is defending Julian Assange now, who found the truth, who found the evidence, the piece of evidence, and took a retrial, and everybody was acquitted.
Gareth Pearce.
After Gareth Pearce. Gareth Pearce. And this case of injustice, 15 years spent Gary McGear in Coldstone in prison. His dad, Giuseppe, died in prison. There has never been a review. There was an investigation, as this government normally does, to an inquiry, public inquiry, that suddenly the inquirer realized that couldn't be public, so was never publicized and never given the information to the people affected. The files were completely sealed until 2020, but Priti Patel found suddenly time to take the documents into a little dark corner in her office, and they've been sealed for between 75 and 100 years. So we will never ever find the reason why that happens. And I think Julian Assange exposed what this government, the US government, and all the allies of the US do behind our backs. The secrecy, the lies, the way they manage and they function. It's like a mafia. They are really mafia. There's no other word for it. And the fact that not a single policeman went to jail, and we're talking about 32, at one point it was discovered that 32 policemen have to collude to lie to the court to put these four people in jail in 1974.
Shame!
And we need to understand that this is a battle for democracy, for the democracy that has been denied to us for many, many decades in this country.
Yes.
And for the democracy that is denied to the people in the United States, to people in Europe. This is a fight, and Julian Assange at the moment is the person who represents that fight that we all have to take and we all have to join, because if we don't, in 20 years' time, you will be the next. You will be the next that will have to go to court, put in jail for 20 years. Nobody will know exactly what happened. Any one of us can end up in that situation. And I tell you, this is just, it shows exactly what this system is, and to call it democracy is just a bigger word for this. It really is not democracy. We need to fight for Julian Assange, for his freedom, and understand what he really represents, not just in the bigger international context, but for in our country, for the institutions of our countries. We know the police doesn't do the work. We know that the judiciary is completely corrupt. We know this government breaks the rules, have parties when everybody is obeying the rules. We know that. We need to act now.
Shame on Boris Johnson and Priti Patel. Shame.
So we need to act and let people and tell everybody what's happening here and try to convince people. Find a ways. There's many ways now with social media, with face-to-face contact, many ways that we can actually send this information to everybody, because we need to be awake, because if we don't fight for Julian, we are going to see terrible times in our country and in our world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're all here in one mind, in one voice, united in defending Julian Assange. Just a few words before we go forward. Our coach has arrived. It's further